Hello, and welcome to the StrongKnits podcast. I'm Trish, and I am starting this again. It has been a very long time since the last time I recorded, probably about 2 years or so. A lot has changed in my life, and I made a career change, which will allow me to be able to have a little bit more time so I can knit more and be able to hopefully podcast on a regular basis. This podcast will be mainly knitting, but I also crochet and I cross stitch, trying to get into sewing, but not that great at it right now. To start this off, I have one finished object. It is the Tavares blanket by Kristen Hipsky. My mom had requested that I make this blanket for her. I'm not going to unfold all of it because it's huge and very heavy. Here it is. The yarn is Valley Yarn Super Bulky in Classic Navy. It was fairly fast to do. This is the wrong side of it. And I think I used 31 balls of yarn. I can't quite remember. She ordered everything and just sent it to me, and she's like, here, knit this blanket for me. And I was like, all right, I will. And so I did. I used US size 15 needles on that, which I am not used to, and it was hard on my hands at first, but I got through it. Next up will be whips. My first one is called Down the Road by Catherine Vaughn. The yarn I'm using was a sock blank that I dyed myself. There we go. I'm almost halfway through, so here's about half. This is the sock blank. And here's the knitting itself. So it starts off, it's all lace. It starts off, I don't know if you'll be able to see it due to the crinkliness of a sock blank. So it starts off with a fairly intricate one, and then it goes into a more easy lace, and you do that for 50%. So you start off 25%, then you do 50, and then you end with the other 25% at the end. I'm using Knit Picks needles. I got the newer or newish Knit Picks needles that are metal, and I like them so far. They're a little bit grippy, but they're pretty nice. I'm using a US 6, which is a 4mm. I have a couple projects with these needles now. Before, I was using the Knit Picks. What are they? The rainbow looking colorful wooden needles. And it was just too slow going. The yarn just kept catching on it, and it made the project difficult to work on. So I decided to try the metal, and it's going much faster now. Next project is Ricoletta, not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, by Joji Locatelli. It is a beautiful cardigan, and I'm knitting it in Madeline Tosh Vintage and Odyssey. So I tried to do this for Joji's fall cowl. Totally didn't do it. Did not make it because I had other things going on. But here's what I have so far. This is the back. It has a lace back. And then there is a collar that goes all the way around, and you knit it at the same time. So pretty much once you're done except for the sleeves. But you start up here doing the lace. You do a provisional cast on and you start the lace one way, and then you pick up the provision and you go the other way, and then you slowly grow into it. So, and as you can see, it's a little bit stripy. That's because the yarn, when I ordered it, there was 2 different dye lots, because hand-dyed yarn. And I'm okay with it. I am alternating skeins, but it's still, there was 3 that had that light band, and I just decided to do the darker ball and the lighter ball together and just keep it that way throughout the entire project. You can only kind of tell when it's on the StrongKnit stitch. The lace, it gets a little bit more muddied together, so it's not as noticeable. So for those, I'm using ChowGoo in US 8, which is a 5mm. It's when I actually sit down to work on this, it actually goes fairly quickly. I just haven't sat down to really work on it because I have a lot of projects to do and a lot of things I want to take care of. So, and that is living in the French Supply Co. bag, which I got when they were doing their closeout sale. I put it off since I heard of them, and then I heard that they're closing, and I panicked and bought one. So, and I have not Knit Picks, Eat, Sleep, Knit badges. I think this was last year's or the year before. Actually, it's the year before, 2019. So you could get badges depending on how far you got. Oh. It's not gonna focus, it looks like. And then, of course, I have Grocery Girl sock tack on the other side. My next project, which is for my boyfriend's mother, she requested a shirt and she went on to Ravelry. I told her where to go and she found one that she really liked. And I've been working on it. It's called the Atlantis sweater. It's by Drops Design. I know how people feel about Drops because of just how they treat other designers and stuff that they do, but this is what she wanted. So here it is so far. So it's interesting because it has the miter squares at the bottom. And it's eventually going, so you start with a big one and then you have little ones that go around and it will eventually form the bottom of the shirt, which I think is really interesting. And the yarn that I'm using, the blue, is Rico Design Creative Melange Lace. And the TR Kiss Mix, I think is what it's called. I don't have the ball band. I'm holding this one double. Here's what it looks like in the ball. So it's just a whole bunch of beautiful blues and greens just mixed together. And then when you hold it double, I just hold the inside and the outside together and then knit from there instead of getting 2 balls. And then the white at the bottom with the mitered square, there we go, is Rico Design Creative Cotton DK and white. Surprise, surprise. I don't remember what needle size I'm using because I finished a miter square and put the needles down, and now they're probably over where they were last time I was working on this, which is on the couch. So, is that one? The next one I have, which I just started this past weekend, is What the Fade by Andrea Mowry. I'm knitting this one for a coworker. She requested a nice big cozy shawl to wrap around her. I'm using Squish Fiber Arts Merino Cashmere for 4 of the colors, and then Madeline Tosh Pashmina for 2 of the colors. So, the first one is Beachcomber. This is Squish Fiber Arts. I might get these mixed up, but I'll try my best. Next one is Aegean, also Squish Fiber Arts. She wanted blues. That's all she wanted. She wanted something plain, but I wanted to do a fade. and she was fine with it after I showed her kind of what it would look like. Next is Acid. This one's Squish Fiber Arts as well. Next is Translation. This one is Mad Tosh Pashmina, which is beautiful. Next we have Memories, which I want to order more of this and weave a blanket out of it. This one's Squish Fiber Arts. Sorry, my cake is, I don't know what it was about the squish. When I was trying to cake it up, each one I had an issue with. It would just, a whole bunch would come off at once and then it would get tangled around the ball winder. This one's gorgeous. And I'll explain what I'm doing with those. The last one is called Kitten, and it is by Madeline Tosh. It's the Pashmina, which is a cute little gray brown, like a kitten. So, if you saw, and I had little stitch markers in there, it's to help me keep track of which color is which, because it's a lot of blue, and I would lose track. So I went through a little thing that I had full of stitch markers and chose ones that kind of had a similar starting letter as the letter it would coincide with. So A is for apple. And it's not going to focus. I'm recording on my phone and I'm just using the basic app. So I don't know if there's a better app out there, probably. Well, that's the way it goes. So for Bravo, there's a little, for B, there's a bike. For color C, I didn't have one that started with a C, but I figured the stroller would be close enough and I could just call it like a crib instead, because I had nothing else that would really go with it. And I just tie it to one of the ends. I decided to do the inside so I could just tuck it in real quick. For D, I didn't have one that really matched, so I just did this one and said, oh, it's a dagger. Totally works, right? As long as I know what it means. So, and then for E, there is an elephant. And then for F, I just picked a flower. And that's just a way for me to be able to keep track of which ball's which. I haven't even put these in a project bag yet because I just started it. Anyway, so this one starts out with brioche. It is a nice big squishy shawl so far. Sorry for the needles banging on the table. It's the first time I've done brioche. So, sorry for all the ends. I just did a color change. So there's ends all over the place. This is the right side. And then here is the wrong side. And this is the other project that I'm using the new Knit Picks needles. And it's US 4, which is a 3.5 millimeter. I'm really enjoying this so far. I did make a mistake on the last row and I have to tink it back and try to figure out what the heck I did, because I tried to do the next brioche row. Didn't make sense at all. So I have no idea what I did, but I'll figure it out. Luckily, tinking isn't too bad in brioche. It looks daunting, but if you just take your time, it's fairly easy to do. All right. Next one is the Anniversary Socks, also known as the Work Sock Set by Pamela Graham. And it's for the Leo and Roxy Yarn Co. I'm gonna fold it in half so I don't give away the pattern. There we go. That's what it looks like. So when you order this set, you get the pattern for free. And I'm doing these for my boyfriend. His favorite color is purple. So I ordered the purple set. It says to knit the leg 7 inches. He likes shorty socks, and I had to convince him to let me knit these a little bit longer. But once he saw the picture, he said it makes sense. And I started these this weekend. I don't remember which day. But I knit the leg 5 inches instead of the called for 7. I already did the heel. And I'm just following the pattern. Nothing crazy. I like how it looks. I like the yarn. I'm using ChowGoo. Which one is it on? US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter. That's bigger than what the pattern calls for. He has a big heel, so trying to get socks that fit over his heel is difficult. So I'm trying to go up a needle size than I usually do to see if that will help at all. Hopefully it does. And I have another one. This set's for me. My favorite color is green. This is what the yarn tag looks like. So. And nope, not gonna focus. Well, it's pretty nice because you get this full skein, and then you get two mini skeins. One is very mini, and one's a little bit less, but it has everything that you need in it to be able to make these adorable socks. So that's all I have for knitting right now. Not really, I have more. That's all I'm going to share for knitting right now, because I'm not organized enough to get every single project WIP that I'm working on for my first one back, and I don't want to overwhelm everybody. But I do want to show a cross stitch that I'm working on. It's slow going. I don't work with the cross stitch every day. I try to do maybe like 1 strand or 2 strands. They're probably about, I don't know, a foot, and I just do that for whenever I pick it up. But you can see, if you can't guess what it is everybody's favorite thing right now, the coronavirus. And I have not kept up with marking off where I am because I mostly look at the computer while I'm doing it. So, and I'm not using the called for colors. I'm using, because it calls for DMC, and there I haven't found a place nearby where I can pick it up, and you know, lockdowns and not being able to go anywhere or travel or anything. So instead I'm using Rico Design in the closest colors that I could find. I'm just going to hold all of them up because it's just reds and greens. Looks like Christmas actually. So, here. There's the greens. There's the reds. And then this lovely, I don't know what this is, minty color. So that's part of it. And it's just slow going. Probably going to hang it up in my office whenever I'm done at work. Only because I think it's amusing, and yeah. I have a few other cross-stitch projects that I want to do, which the fabric and the thread just came in today for one of them. The other one, I have the fabric, but I don't have the thread. I'm going to wait until I finish the one that just came in because it's pretty. It's massive for me. And I also have a needlepoint that I'm working on, which I see it right over there. I'll show it next time. I got it from a coworker. Her family, somebody in her family bought it back in the 80s or 90s. I can't remember. It's by a famous German artist. I cannot remember his name. And they bought it when Deutschmark was still the currency here in Germany. So it's pretty interesting, and I'm looking forward to finishing it. They had only done this much, and that's probably, what, 10% of the whole thing. So if I show it off next time, you won't be able to see the whole thing because it's on a roller, but you can see where I'm working at right now. And there's a lot of small little details, so it's slow going. And with the short days, the small details I can do in the middle of the day because I can actually see them. And there's like 10 shades of brown, which in the sunlight, it's okay because you can tell them apart. Once the sun goes down, they all look the same. So in the middle of the day, if I can, if I'm not at work, I work on the small details, and then there's some areas where there's big blocks of like one color. I'll work on those at night, which I do have a lamp that sits behind my chair so I can like bring it in and have it shine on it, but it still doesn't help enough for some of those colors because they're just so similar. It is near impossible to tell the difference. Most of the time I just guess or just fudge it because I don't have enough patience for that, and my life's too short to worry about things like that. You know. Anyway, I think that's it for now. It's 20 minutes, which is good enough for my first time back again. So hopefully you enjoy it. If not, that's all right. Everybody has their likes and dislikes. Wish you all a happy rest of the week, and happy January, happy New Year, all that fun stuff, and happy knitting. Bye.